You want everybody to obey the rules,
Yeah,
but no one does, and no one regulates it. Like
That's why they need you.
Lifeguard. Yeah, that's why I just keep my mouth shut though. I ain't playing that fucking
But
game.
isn't at the end of the day, it's because everyone's just fucking exhausted trying to manage.
yeah.
Just trying to manage society is exhausting.
I'll tell you what's exhausting. I do think most people think, well, I don't have to follow the rules. It's me.
Yeah. I
It's
know
me.
what I'm doing.
It's me.
The rules are for the idiots.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know what this lane is for.
yeah, you see
it's
it
for
in-
bikes and for people like me.
Yeah,
that know how to use it correctly.
You see it driving all the time.
Yeah.
Oh man, Travis Bickle had a great point.
He had a lot of great points.
One day a real rain's gonna come and wash the scum off the streets. He said that to a guy who's running for president.
Yeah. It's exactly what that guy needed to hear.
That's what Trump just said on a live mic today.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh man, I can't believe we're doing this again.
Yeah. I am rolling whenever
All right.
we're ready to start.
Yeah, let me know. Welcome to the Full Charge Power Hour. I'm Matt Fulcheron with my new delivery. Do you like it? Patreon.com/the full charge. We have to build a new studio. Brian and I were over in an undisclosed location, actually right on the LA River.
Beautiful.
Beautiful,
Los Angeles.
yes.
City of
We're-
Los Angeles River.
So many novels were written.
So
Nope.
inspiring.
And, you know, since it rained this week, the water was about 2 inches deep.
Right,
It was beautiful, beautiful scenery.
They couldn't possibly have shot the chase scene in Terminator 2
No.
in this weather.
No. Too dangerous. And come see me on the Bro Adjacent tour. I'm going to Louisville, Cincinnati. I discussed Bro Adjacent with you one night at the Comedy Store. We'll get back to that.
Sure.
Nashville, Tennessee, Brooklyn, New York, Boston, Massachusetts, Hartford, Connecticut, Palm Coast, Florida. Never been there. Would like a warm welcome. And San Diego, California. Yeah, that's my stee. I'm with the bigger bros. Like I'm associated with the bigger bros. Like
Yeah.
most of my friends have a fitted cap. Right? No, but seriously, like I hang out with a lot of the big podcaster guys.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and a lot of them are bros. I'm not really a bro. I have a fitted cap, but I'm more of a sensitive type.
You break it
I
out for
would think.
special occasions.
Yeah,
you don't wear it all the time.
Like baseball games and
Yeah.
every other day because I hate my fucking hair. But, you know, the hats have gone, like, I don't know what to do with the hat anymore. I just go with the baseball because it's not a big deal to wear a baseball cap. But I did really want to rock the fedora at one point. And like the Kangol forward and all this
I
stuff.
thought about getting one of those. Everyone knows the jig is up with me on baldness. It doesn't matter what kind of hat. Everyone's just,
Right.
Yeah, that guy's bald.
Yeah, but you
underneath.
committed years ago, and it was like,
Sure.
you did a great job. Well, you didn't by
I didn't-
choice, but
yeah,
I mean,
God committed
sorry,
years
yeah,
ago. Genetics committed years ago.
Can we talk about how cool it was, though, that you had, for years, wore a shirt with your own face on it?
yeah. But he
And it said
updated
Mike
the shirt.
Black. Right. So sometimes the Mike Black on the shirt would be looking at the Mike Black in real life
Yeah.
or off to the side.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. My initial goal with that was eventually I was going to take pictures of each of the shirts and do like a flip book for merch because I was going to have a lot of fans
Yeah.
and they were going to come
Yeah.
running to, they're sold out of the flip books again. But then I realized it would chart my baldness really sadly. It would be a very sad flip book.
But
It's
that'd be
great.
fun for your fans, though, who'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
you got a 2007.
Yeah.
So remember,
2007s are out, everybody.
you remember early days of YouTube? That's what people were doing. They were doing the videos where they took a quick video of themselves every single day, and there was like a
Oh,
big. Remember
man.
those? And I think a lot of people were like, "This is so cool." I was always like, "No, there's nothing cool
No.
about watching yourself age."
They look like
It's-
they're getting poisoned. It's like, what-
Yeah,
what's happening? Find the murderer.
If it was real time, what'd they
Yeah.
take?
They're,
That's
they're
funny.
not being poisoned. They're just eating American food.
Same thing.
Just watching the hope fade slowly.
So would they age within a year? Would it,
I think some of these, it was more than a year for some of these people were doing it over
Yeah.
a decade. It was. I mean, look, it's fascinating, but it's like I said, it's especially when you get to a certain age, like myself. and
Sure.
Yeah.
I won't count for you guys, but you start aging, and you avoid mirrors. We've talked about that
Yeah.
before. You start
Yeah.
avoiding
It's like
A lot of the vampire rules start to make sense as you get older,
yeah,
staying out of the sunlight and avoiding mirrors.
And I know you get mad at me. I haven't sent you any yet. I should. And now I will. When I find old photos of us back in the day, because he used to take pictures all the time.
Yeah.
And I know you said, hey, Brian, you said don't look at old photos, yet you keep sending all of us old photos.
but I still love them though, because I look at them, I go, yeah, I really had it.
I didn't realize how
Yeah.
good I had it back then. I was like,
Right? It's all
I
perspective.
was somewhat attractive back then.
None
you
of
know?
us know, and you have
No.
all these stupid insecurities, but you're 20 fucking one.
Yeah.
If we do have any young listeners, which I doubt we do, this is it.
Yeah.
Get out there, be somebody.
Whatever you are is great.
Yeah.
Go get them.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
So true.
and you're also not the first person to age or like whatever you're
Right.
hung up on about yourself.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
I had an audition this morning, and I thought I should probably shave my head because it's when I get 5 o'clock shadow up here, it gets real weird. And so I went into the audition, and there were so many circus freak elders that had it so much worse hair wise than I had it. I was like, oh, I should do this all the time. I should just come into an audition room even when I'm not auditioning and go, oh, now I feel better. I can go be part of society now.
I'm so happy. I've started going out again for commercial auditions, and that people are finally willing to submit me for Cool Dad.
Yeah.
You know, because like for the longest time I'd be like 41 and they're like, you're cool, dude. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm no longer cool, dude. Like fucking let's do this. Let's give me
I've
a
let
chance.
go. Please let go
Yeah.
of it. You know?
I'm in there with like these like skinny. It doesn't matter how much you diet or exercise. You can't be like 23-year-old skinny.
No,
No.
Well,
so
you know-
at some point you got to stop going in with your skateboard attached to
Yeah.
your back, too, try
Yeah.
to make it. No, I'm still young. No. Just
I went into an audition in like 9 years ago, where I was actually skateboarding at 41 years old. You
Yeah.
know. Now, granted, I put together some video of me doing a kickflip to get in there. But then the dude was like, I get in there and he just goes, yeah, can you do a bunch of 360s? And I'm like, I don't know if I can. And I used to know how to do it, so I knew what to do. And I fucking did it. I started
Nice.
rolling backwards and I did about 360s without stopping, like wheelie style.
Okay.
You know? And I was like, holy shit, I did it. Don't ask me to do it again, you know?
Yeah.
Still didn't get the part after all that nonsense.
At least they didn't have to call in the medic.
Yeah. Seriously.
I would have
man.
requested that footage. I would have been like, is there any way
I wish I had that footage. That was so dumb not
that
to
would
get
be
it.
fucking
Yeah.
great to have? Yeah.
I should have set up my own camera.
You mind if I also record this audition?
I made the rookie mistake this week. I first of all, this isn't a rookie mistake. I picked up my wife at the airport at like 10 p.m. on Friday,
That's
which
a
is
good
cool
move.
because you
Yeah.
go in there, you save some money for the fam, and you and you know it's not that hard. It's 10 o'clock at night. But then I was like, hey, honey, I'm not working till March. I'll drive you to the airport all the time. And then
Oh.
last night I was like, what time's the flight? She goes 10:40, but it's a international flight.
Oh.
So she goes, so they're supposed to get there 3 hours early technically.
Yeah.
So
Now you're leaning into traffic. You're starting to lean into
well, that's the thing. She goes, what time? My wife plays this game with me. She goes, what time do you think we should leave? And I'm like, 7 o'clock. We'll get there around 7:40, 8 o'clock, and everything will be cool. And then
Yeah.
she just starts working on me. Like, well, we can leave later and this and that and that. And I'm always saying to her, like, you asked me what my opinion was.
Right.
Now you want to negotiate with me. I'm not.
How long you been married?
3 years.
You're just figuring this out now?
Well, yeah, no, I know, but it's funny though. At one point, this is
Even
when
I
she-
know that.
yeah.
This is when she's taking an Uber though. Like this is a while ago, a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, you can leave whenever you want.
Yeah.
I'm like, you asked me my opinion, like that's my opinion. But anyway, we leave at 7:30.
All relationships are a series of negotiations.
Right.
And then you die. So just know that and everything will be fine.
So
It's not a bad thing.
Did you guys get there on time?
well, yes and no, because you know you take a left turn
Yes.
and you just immediately in traffic the whole fucking way to LAX.
Yeah.
And you know, the time keeps going up. The time keeps going up. I got her there 2 hours early for her
Okay.
flight to Mexico.
Oh, okay. All right.
She's fine. She made it to Mexico.
You probably
Nobody-
could have just
nobody's
driven there at
checking
that point,
anything.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
No,
like,
let's just go.
You're
yeah,
good.
didn't we hear that like everybody was fired at the FAA?
Yeah.
Anyway, you could just walk in there.
Just walk around. Someone will ship you to Mexico, whether you like it or not.
But I took surface streets home because that's the other thing. Like I got to get out of this airport duty in the mornings now because first of all, I did not make the rookie mistake of doing a favor and complaining about it, which cancels
yeah.
out the favor.
Yep.
Stupid, fucking stupid. I bit my tongue, but it dawned on me as soon as I made the first left turn into my commute.
Into hell.
I was like, I got to drive back too,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Do you drive back or do you make a day of it near the airport? Just have a bunch
You
of
know what I
fun
did? I was like, I'm gonna
over
take
there?
surface streets home, and I'm gonna stop and get something to eat.
Yeah.
And then nothing grabbed me, and I just ended up driving all the way home.
Did you visit the beach? You're so close.
No.
Okay.
Did not visit the beach.
No one has ever visited the beach like
Yeah.
in Los Angeles.
Fuck the beach, man.
You know?
Even if you're 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll catch it next
So
time.
weird. That's what happens
I
when you live
really
here long enough.
love the ocean and I want to see it and
Yeah.
everything, but I'm not doing
When company comes, you go to
Yeah.
the beach.
Last
That's it.
time I used to go to the beach a lot was I lived in Santa Monica.
Sure,
And you guys used to run the show down there, Splat,
Yeah.
right?
in the alleyway.
And I would ride my
That was
bike
fun.
to those shows because it was only like 7-8 blocks from my house, and I would ride I had a beach bike, and I would ride all around over there in Santa Monica. After we moved away from there, I've probably seen the beach 4 times since then.
I
Yeah.
always entertain
Sad.
the idea that I'm gonna move close to the beach every time I move back to LA.
Yeah.
And then I always find something I like in the neighborhood I've always lived in, and I'm like, well, fuck it, we live here again.
It's not that
the
cheap,
Lethal
you know?
Weapon style is basically the dream scenario.
Yeah,
Where you have
yeah.
that trailer by the beach and a dog.
Just randomly placed on top of a beautiful mountain, of course.
yeah. yeah.
I thought about doing that.
I'm sure no one's there's no pushback.
No,
on
not
that.
at all. Not at all. Just open land.
Yeah.
Free for the taking.
Yeah.
I remember I had about $2,000 left in the bank, not much on the calendar, and I saw a van for about $1,800, and I was like,
Should I be Jim Rockford?
do I live in the van now? I couldn't see giving away that last $2,000,
Yeah.
even if it was ownership.
Well, I've got plenty of people that live in vans around me, and I'm gonna go with no. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. It's not the life that you think it is.
Yeah.
But always
I mean-
feel free to stop and ask one of those guys if they're awake.
Yeah.
What it's like to be living
No.
this rustic lifestyle like Ithrium.
It's kind of like living on a
You guys
boat.
remember Ithrium?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny you said that because I was going to tell you guys. I took surface streets and I ended up on Sepulveda and I saw our old haunt,
Yeah.
Bar Azor.
Bar Azor.
Which is
Sure.
now like a pet food
Yeah.
store. Or
It was a
something.
hot wings place for a while, and now it's a pet
Yeah.
food.
Ithrium was, I guess, would be considered a homeless fella. I assume. At least that's the way he presented himself.
But wasn't the rumor that he was like a really rich homeless person?
We could never figure it out. It was the only time I said it was the only homeless person that ever
Can
bought
you
me
describe
drinks.
him?
He was an
general
older
as
fella,
a
and he
dude?
used to show us. He was I think he was a Vietnam vet, right? Because he had discharge papers.
He was kind of a skinny, older, kind of good looking.
yeah,
hippie-ish
Is that crazy?
sort of vibe.
Like,
Yes.
it looked like he kind of could have a lot going for him,
Yes.
but he
Yeah.
just chose not to.
Harmless,
Yeah.
not out of his mind.
Yeah.
completely with it. We thought initially he was out of his mind because I used to record all those shows. I still somewhere I'll have to find this video. He brought a hand puppet into once, and he kept sticking it up. He knew I was
Yeah.
recording in the back while everybody was on stage, and he wouldn't do anything with the puppet. He would just kind of move it around and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I was like, okay, maybe this guy's out of his mind. But then he kind of became a part of
Our world.
Yeah.
And to the audience, I want to tell you, I called him. I said, "We have celebrities here tonight. This is Stripe from Gremlins." He looked like a human version of Stripe from Gremlins.
He totally did.
But he would go to the show
every week he was at our show.
And then one time we were saying goodbye to our friend Tom McCaffrey, but we held it at Gower and Sunset,
Which, for those who are not from here, it's nowhere
So
near
far-
where Bar
Yeah.
Azor was.
and so we thought he was homeless, but then he was there.
He showed up.
and somebody on stage is like, "What are you doing here at 3M?" And he's like, "Tom McCaffrey fan."
Miss that guy. I
I
don't know
miss
where
that
he
guy
is. Rest
too.
in peace if he's passed. But
It's
if
not
he
like you
hasn't-
can look him up on Facebook.
Tom McCaffrey, or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Tom's alive and well.
I'm sure he's fine. I'm
Yeah.
sure he's fine.
But let's Aaron, let's go to Brennan Tassif in New York City. We're gonna do
Long
a
distance.
fun game of Was I a Dick? He says he's got something. Brian says he's got something to share with the class.
I've got a thing if you need.
Mike has one. I think I'm gonna let Brian close
Yeah.
because I already know his, and I don't even know my judgment yet. I want to hear the story again. I've heard the preliminary trial. I want to hear. Now,
Yeah,
Mr.
what is it?
Irwin,
What-
would you say you were in your right mind when you were talking to Kid Rock
You're
like
the
that?
grand jury testimony, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it is before they decide whether you're going to?
You know what's funny is I don't know, but there's a hearing before the
A
hearing.
hearing before there to determine whether or not you're
Pre-trial
actually
hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have to determine whether it's good enough to go to
the
trial.
grand jury, a group
Yeah.
of people actually decide whether or not it's jury worthy,
Yeah, or the judge.
or court worthy, whatever.
Anyway, take
Whatever
this.
the
Take a
case is.
class. Don't listen to us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Why are
We're
we?
kind of trying scrapping for
If you
details.
came here for legal advice.
Yeah, no, you're in bad shape in the first place. You might as well stay here because
Yeah.
you're not going to go anywhere
One-
else. You don't know where to go.
One of the worst things that I catch myself doing all the time is becoming an instant expert for no reason.
And that's
yeah.
And
that's
I stopped myself the other day when I was on the job and we were going up in an elevator and I started talking about the ins and outs of the elevator and all of a sudden I said to everybody in there, I'm like, why am I know nothing. Why am I all of a sudden an expert on elevators? I know nothing about elevators, but yet there I was.
I noticed about 20 years ago. I noticed no matter what my girlfriend asked me, I would try to answer it.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about, I would just try to like go on my own logic. And I think that comes from just going to school
Yeah.
or like having parents that are involved and being like, hey, what's the answer? And you got to give something.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Brennan Tassif in
There
New
he
York
is.
City, what's happening, dude? What's
up, guys?
Where are you putting your money this football season?
Who am I putting it
What
on?
team? Yeah,
The Eagles. That
Okay.
defense is going to destroy Patrick Mahomes.
they are. They're locking up that city right now.
Are
Me
you,
and-
are you
me
by the
and-
way, a football conspiracy theorist who believes that the only reason why the Chiefs are there is because the NFL wants it?
No.
Good.
No. Short answer is no. The team shouldn't be in those positions. I think that he gets a lot of calls, but I think that's not a conspiracy. I think that's just a superstar benefit to being the best player in the league. So you get more calls, but teams shouldn't be in a position where one flag destroys the whole game.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's usually not a make or break. It usually changes the outcome, sometimes drastically, but usually only about 7 points. But
Yeah, and also don't be in a position where one holding call takes you out of the game. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
play better, the other teams.
I mean, that's like life,
yeah,
I think.
yeah, no, right down to like legal issues. People are going. Judge is going to call it this way or that way. You know?
One moment in your
Yep.
life should not determine your life. If you think it did, then you failed yourself.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying, Brennan? If I'm
What I'm
interpret this
saying
right?
is that if one moment, as someone who's been arrested 8 times, if one arrest breaks you, you're obviously doing something wrong.
There we go.
Right.
'Cause I live in New York City and I'm chasing a dream now, baby,
Yeah.
and I've got 8 of them. So
Yeah.
This guy knows what's
You
up.
need to get up, dust yourself off, and get 7 more misdemeanors. So you have something to talk
I've got
about
8
when you get
flags
to
on
New
the
York
flag.
City.
That's right.
Yeah, but I did see a documentary one time where they talked about how refs are supposed to call a game a certain way. In other words, like when in doubt, we do want the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Is this crazy?
Yes.
Okay.
No, but I think that has to do more with like a psychological effect of like, we know the Chiefs are the favorite team. You know what I mean? Like the years of like, well, this is the guy that's supposed to be here. This is the guy. Like Donahue for the NBA came out and said, I threw the game with Sacramento and the Lakers in the 2000s. Like I made sure the Lakers won that series. I don't think any ref is being told like, hey, they need to win this game. But I think it's a psychological thing, which is why home field advantage is a thing, because you've got all these fans cheering right behind you. You don't know. Maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't, and you just throw the flag anyway.
Yeah, I was rooting for the Commanders because they're my would-be team if I gave a shit about football. But I got tons of Maryland friends out here, so it turned into an event every week. We were like re-upping, like, oh my God, we're still in this.
I'm proud of them. They're going to be great.
And then I know we got fans in Philadelphia, and forgive me, but I would just I love when Philly's pissed.
They're a lot
But
more fun.
Lucky for me, they're pissed even when they win.
Right.
Or they act
Yeah,
up even
that's
when
what I
they
was just
win.
about
Yeah.
to say. They don't
Yeah.
care either way. They want Nick Sirianni out of there. They're just excited to be back at it. They're winning in spite of him, not because of him.
Me and Brendan played the I won't even go into detail, but we played like the worst fucking gigs in Philly. Like 2 nights in a row, they were horrible for different reasons. We were playing like the worst makeshift club of all time.
It's not there anymore.
Well, no shit, it's not there anymore.
What was it called?
I can't remember. Can you?
I can. Do you want me to say it?
If it's not there anymore.
Jester Castle.
Yeah. Yeah. So even the name was like, hey, we're a bunch of fucking clowns at a castle.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those things where you were kind of like, we got there. We were like, ugh.
I'll just tell you guys, I might cut it out. It was like, I told him I didn't want this. I was like, oh, if you're going to do that night, don't have me on because I'm not the right comic for this. Because like I should be able to do that gig. And that's what the guy told
Right,
me.
but it's good to know yourself.
But it's like, it ain't going to work. And then
It's like Brian said, you're one call away
and,
from,
peop- and people were walking into the green room going, who's the headliner? You better fucking kill tonight. Like, we organized this shit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm talking to the manager. I'm like, dude, there's people walking into the green room. He's like, did that guy seem like he was in any kind of control of that room, Brendan? It seemed like,
No, not at
It
all.
seemed like an event just happened and he didn't know what the fuck to do.
Well, the just real quick, one thing to kind of sum up the whole thing is the men's group organized it for the women. As the host, because I had the host on my podcast, we were talking about it. As he was going on stage, one of the women stopped him and said, hey, what are you about to do? And he goes, oh, we're doing comedy. And she goes, wait, this is like a comedy thing?
There you go.
So they had no idea we were even doing stand-up.
So they were just, it was one of those shows you do where everyone's just talking to each other.
Yeah.
And then the only love I got is when I said, I'm starting to think they booked the wrong comics for this event. And the whole place went ape shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Closer. You just didn't
And
know
then I'm
it.
like, I got them. And I started doing more jokes and they were like, nope, they still agree with the.
No, you already
You were correct.
closed out your set.
Yeah.
You just didn't know it.
Oh man, woo! We survived, Brendan. We survived.
Yeah,
that
we
was
made
like
it.
that. I was seriously questioning my life and my career at that point because I also did an old folks home that month in Virginia, and I'm like, is this just like? Because I'm not good at these gigs. Like, I'm just not good at these gigs where you're supposed to do some generic comedy for like for an
Rotary
old folks
Club,
home.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know that you should be good at that.
I'm glad I'm not,
You know?
but I also you also need some money every once in
Yeah.
a while.
But
Well,
like,
isn't the
I
theory-
wouldn't want that to be my whole bread and butter. It's
Oh,
just
dude.
doing that kind of shit.
Wow.
You know?
There's a famous scene of The Sopranos where this dude's just dying at an old folks home. He's on stage,
yeah.
just like he's doing a fucking Ed Sullivan impression and stuff, and he's just bombing. I was like, I was up there going, oh my God, it's happening to me. Our segment that we usually have Brendan on for is called "Was I a Dick?" and we got three this week. What happens is one person tells a story, usually a confrontational story, and they think, was I a dick or wasn't I a dick? And then the jury of his peers votes on it. What do you got, Brendan?
All right, so mine is actually not confrontational, but I need to know if I was a dick. And I think everyone can relate to this, especially if you live in like a bigger city. I was walking down the street the other day, saw someone that we know, all of us know, I think. I consider a good friend. Had his headphones in, though, was doing stuff, had his kid with him. And I didn't say hi. I saw him, clocked him. I'm pretty sure he didn't see me. And I just kept walking.
Oh,
Am I a dick in that scenario? Because I don't see them that often. We don't
Dude.
hang out a lot. Am I a dick for not saying anything?
not in my book. I do it all the time. I just did it to somebody
Me.
this week.
Oh, no, that was me 2 weeks ago.
No, did I do that to you?
No, remember I waved to you on the street and you just stared at me?
That's different.
And my son
That's a
said,
little different.
And by the way, I had one of my kids in the car. He's like, "Do you know that guy?" I go, "Yeah, I fucking know him. I'm with him all the time." And he's like, "Why didn't he acknowledge you?" I'm like, "I don't know."
You gotta consider my perspective.
No.
I'm in my own world. I'm walking down the street with my wife. Was I a dick? You guys can vote on this. And we're talking, blah, blah, blah. And here's a weird thing about me that you don't know. I don't know what people drive. I don't know anything about cars. I don't know makes. I don't know models. I don't know what makes are. I don't know what models are. When somebody asks me what my make and model is, I'm like, fuck, like at a hotel parking lot or something. And it's weird because my dad is so into cars. I think it's like a quiet rebellion. But then it's like, but when I didn't say hi back to you, that was me trying to figure out what the fuck was going on.
Well, it's too late. What is that crazy thing he's in?
And then I understood what happened, but it was too late.
No.
You were gone.
I'm going to put a button on this conversation so we
right.
get back to Brendan's thing.
Yeah.
But Matt texted me 2 fucking days later and goes,
Yeah.
was that you in that car? 2 days. 2 days later.
Because, I had to go right back to the conversation with my wife.
For 2 days?
Yeah, because here's the thing. Now I'm going to go back into the conversation with my wife, and then you wake up 2 days later from a conversation, and you go, oh, man, I think that was Brian. I better get to the bottom of this.
So Brian, I think you are the most like in it to say, was I a dick or not?
Well, I also... I'm sorry to
I could
interrupt
tell
you.
by the look on his face he didn't know it was me, so I'm gonna let him slide.
Thank
I just
God.
wanted to razz him.
I mean, can you imagine?
If you had
I
just
coaxed you into coming here every week, and then I'm like, fuck off, man. It ain't business hours. I consider it a service, Brennan. And this doesn't apply to the scenario. That was sheer confusion.
Yeah.
If I see somebody who's doing their own thing, and I'm usually not in the mood to have a catch up. How's it going? What's going on? Did the fires get your house? Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Who's working? The industry's dead right now. It's all TikTokers. It all fucking goes. It's the same conversation. And I don't think anyone really wants to have it. And I think you have to wait for the eye contact. If eye contact is made, you can then say hello. And it doesn't even have to be a long hello. It can just be a, hey, what's up? But if you're saying the guy had headphones in, that's the universal language, dude.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
There's I think we need to start normalizing this. There's a very funny comic in New York where if he sees someone and he wants them to say hi, he will just yell acknowledgement. And I think that's a good way to be like, okay, that means I can say hi.
Yeah. Or you could just be like, give it up. Give it up. You go the other direction and made a huge deal out of it.
Because especially with comics, it's weird because we don't want to talk to each other if we don't have to.
You see a
lot.
comic in the wild, they're in their own fucking world thinking about 3 different things right now.
I have trouble. It's kind of like your thing with cars, but if I see someone at work, it's very hard for me to understand them outside of work,
I get
like
that
at
a
the
lot from the
mall or
restaurant.
something. Yeah. And I'll be at the mall and I'll be like, what is this person? Who is this guy?
Especially if they have kids.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Yeah, if they have a whole family and shit, I'm out.
There's more of you?
This doesn't make any sense to me at all. I just will break down completely and just turn around.
Yeah.
I guess I'm going the other direction now.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm not prepared. Sometimes I do avoid the other person.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a dick thing to do
Yeah.
because it's a neutral. It's a
Yeah.
neutral.
Nobody wins, nobody loses.
Yeah.
Well, I think you guys have defined, and I agree. It's not a. You weren't a dick because you guys have defined a world that not everybody understands, which is the comics world. Now, if this would be different, if it was like a family member, right?
Sure.
They may take
Uncle
that.
Leo.
Yeah, they would probably take that as an affront of like, why didn't you stop and say hi?
As they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
They'll take the affront.
So
every chance they get.
Unless you knew that person would have been bummed if you didn't stop and have like a how's the weather generic fucking conversation, or you were just going to do a tap and go, which is like a, hey, and you just keep going, letting them know like I'm not going to stop you, just letting you know that I saw you, just in case you saw me move. It doesn't matter. It's fine that I don't think they cared. It's no skin off their back that they didn't have a hello with you at all.
Yeah.
I like to look at
'cause
somebody.
that same week, I did see my girlfriend's cousin, and I purposely avoided her. And so maybe
I think it's fine.
that one I was like,
you just-
absolutely not, absolutely not.
You just looked at her and went, nope.
I think you
I'm
get
out.
one. I think you get one with each person. I think you get the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
Yeah.
For one. And also, why didn't you say hi to me? If you get busted, why didn't you say hi to me?
Yeah.
I didn't see
Yeah,
you.
that's
I had a
true.
lot on my mind. I was on my way to work. This is America. Like, as long as you use the word work, you're forgiven.
Yeah.
Oh, I was on my way to work. I got to make that money. That's all anybody cares about. You gotta communicate that way.
We're all comics. We're all weirdos. You're safe.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So, Mike, do you have one?
Yeah, mine is when I was a kid.
It's still bugging you.
It's,
Hopefully, we can
Going
clear
way
this up
back
for
with
you.
it really haunts me.
Aaron,
man.
Aaron, dim the lights, please.
I was back when we had like real jungle gyms
Yeah.
in the park. We had one that was a metal tower and one that was a big wooden tower.
Okay.
But the wooden tower had metal hooks and stuff on it that you could easily destroy yourself on
Right.
it. Well, I've always been a little bit afraid of heights.
Okay.
But I climbed to the top of the wooden one day.
Okay.
Proud of you.
But so was I. Nobody else was there but one other kid in the gravel pit that I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've always been socially awkward. I'm like, I'm the champion of this tower
Absolutely.
right now.
Yeah.
If ever I'm qualified to make friends, this is the time. And my dumb way of doing it is I go, I bet you can't climb up this tower. And the kid looks at me like I was questioning his rights.
Yeah.
And he goes, I can do whatever I want. And he starts to climb up
Oh,
there,
yeah?
makes a bad step, bump, bump, bump,
Yeah.
bump, crash into the gravel
Yeah.
down at the bottom. And so I just climbed down and went home.
Oh,
Yeah,
it said nothing.
yeah.
No,
Left
I
him in
didn't say-
tears.
I was like, no. I was like, he probably desperately needed help, and I never saw him again,
Dude, you
And
gotta
So
let
he might be dead.
you gotta let this go.
Okay,
You gotta let this go. You weren't a dick. You were a kid.
okay, that's
You were
what
a
I needed
kid.
to hear.
That's how kids.
That's exactly
That's
what
how
I needed
kids
to hear.
speak to each other.
Right, yeah.
And you didn't know what the fuck to do after he hurt himself.
I was like,
You were
I'm
right.
not a
He couldn't
professional.
do it.
I mean, if this segment was called "You Were Right,"
I was right. I was right.
You taught that kid that he shouldn't try anything.
Stop
Definitely not in
trying.
front of people.
yeah, life lesson. You're not a dick.
So thank you for that.
Stop
The
trying.
learning moment.
Is the
Yeah.
learning? Yeah.
He's still in your hometown. He never tried shit.
Yeah. You taught him
I'm
early.
picturing him in a wheelchair, just listening to this one day. Goes, that motherfucker.
He's a 48-year-old guy playing in a gravel pit right now.
You know that's the
he
beginning.
never left.
Based on the world that you know very well. That was the day you created a supervillain.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. My arch enemy.
Yeah, anti-gravity man.
He's gonna look at my career and go, "I did it."
He will actually, ironically, invent the jetpack.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I won't get to have one.
To find you and kill you. That's the only reason why he wanted to create it.
I bet you don't have a jetpack.
It always starts off for the good of the world, but it really was to kill Mike Black. That's the only reason why he wanted to create it.
I would totally be down with that footnote in history of the jetpack was invented to kill Mike Black.
I mean, if you invented a superhero instead of a supervillain,
Yeah,
that's pretty
I'd be
great.
cool with that too.
Yeah.
There are worse ways to go out.
Absolutely. So take it easy. That's
Okay,
over
good.
with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
feel
don't go
much
back.
better.
We don't go back in history for these.
Oh, okay.
If there's something
I
that's
went too far.
there's something that's still bugging you, and it happens to me too, about like 1986.
Yeah.
You're not a dick in that way anymore.
Yeah.
You learned that lesson
Yeah.
hardcore,
You've changed a lot since then.
more than you should have.
Right, yeah.
I assume
we
you're
suffer
not.
in
I
silence
assume
for
you're going to
those.
go easy on him,
Oh yeah, no, I told him
Yeah.
he's fine. He's
Yeah,
totally
okay,
fine.
good.
Brandon. What do you
Definitely not.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
come
Oh,
on.
nice. Thanks.
All right.
Yeah, toddler rules apply.
All right.
Okay.
Even if you're not a toddler at the point.
Right, yeah.
It's the rule. It's the rules of the jungle gym. The rules of the
Yeah.
jungle.
Yeah.
Very much so.
It's a jungle gym out there. All right, we got the potatoes.
Yeah.
Let's get to the meat.
All right. I've been saving this one for you, Brendan, for a long time.
Oh,
just so
awesome.
you know. So for those that don't know, I used to work in the music business. And I used to manage a band called the Guffs out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and they had a record deal at Atlantic Records, right? So we're in New York, we're in the A&R guy's office, and it's just me. I'm sitting at the A&R guy's desk. He went somewhere, and it's me and the band are sitting in there. And this guy walks past, another band manager walks past that I know, and he's like, "Hey, Brian, what's up?" I'm like, "What's up, buddy?" I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, I'm here with my artist, Kid Rock." Now, this is before Kid Rock was Kid Rock. Nobody knew who he was. This is, like
90s.
fresh. Yeah, this is 90s, yeah. So Kid Rock comes in with what I believe to be his little 8-year-old brother.
Oh no.
And so
What's
they
the guy's
sit
name?
down,
Joe C?
Joe C.
Yeah.
His MC, right? Like,
Yeah.
is that what he is? Would he be considered?
No, well, no, his is
Hype
hype
man.
man.
Hype man, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So they sit down across from me and we have a friendly conversation, all of us in there, my band, Kid Rock, 8-year-old kid. We're all sitting there who was not saying a word, just sat there. So he wasn't doing much hyping in there. He was just
Just taking it in.
Chilling.
he was sitting there.
Save
and
it for the stage, Joe.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that would be funny though in a conversation. Like, yeah, we just got signed with Elektra Records. Yeah, my man, Kid Rock just got signed with Elektra, boy. That would be very fucking funny.
And maybe he had done that in another room.
Yeah.
And I just,
Yeah.
if he was the hype man
You were late
throughout.
to the party.
Yeah, he was down. He was done at that point. So Kid Rock gets up and he's like, look, we got to get going. Nice to meet you guys. Everybody's shaking hands. I shake hands with Kid Rock. I lean over and I pat Joe C on the head. And I said, and it was nice to meet you too, little fella. And he got,
Son of a bitch.
and his face got really old all of a sudden because
Right,
when
right.
he got angry.
Yeah.
But he didn't say anything, right? And he walks out, and one of the guys in the band closes the door and turns to me and goes, "What the fuck, man?" And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "What the fuck are you patting that dude on the head for?" I go, "What, that dick-ass little 8-year-old kid?" I'm like, "That kid's got some attitude." He goes, "That dude's like 30. He's one of those little people things.
Right,
what the
right.
fuck?"
Yeah.
And I
One
was
of
like,
those little people things.
I go, well, it was the 90s.
Yeah.
And anyway, I was like, well, I didn't know. He looked like an 8-year-old
Yeah,
kid.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
just doing an 8-year-old kid pat on the
Right.
head. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that's what you do. I thought he was a dick.
I like how the tall one's named Kid Rock.
And
Guys
so
should really switch it up.
I always stood by my argument that unless it was announced,
Yeah.
I didn't know. I hadn't seen him on TV.
Right.
Didn't know. He looked like
Right.
he wasn't. He was kind of more like Gary Coleman, right? Like
Like that
he
kind.
didn't look like an adult
This-
that was smaller. That was my argument.
Yeah.
Their argument was like there nothing about him said 8-year-old kid. You're an idiot, and you also don't pat 8-year-old kids on the head either because it's disrespectful.
That was my argument.
And so,
Yeah.
was I a dick?
Here's what I love
in
about
multiple ways.
this is what I love about this segment. An actual dick would never care that he did this.
All right.
He would never even blink for a second. He would just go, "Well, he's fucking 5'4'8". What the fuck am I supposed to do? Look out the window. You guys want to order a pizza?" And it would just be over. You wouldn't even remember that you did it. No, you're not a dick. But I think, like, probably in hindsight, you don't talk as much as an adult because it gets you in all kinds of trouble. The more you say, the more you're gonna fuck yourself in this world. That's what I find. Whenever I've had a new girlfriend or something, they're like, "You don't talk much." I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna
That's
stay
by
that way."
design. It's not even the 8th best policy.
I'm still hung up on the guy correcting you by saying he's one of those little people things.
I guarantee you, he had no idea either, and was just jumping on you because he was
Yeah.
3 seconds from doing that himself. Just throwing you under the bus, even though like they'd all left. He's like, "Yeah, Brian, what the fuck?"
Apparently, they knew. They
Yeah,
did. They did
okay.
know, and so they thought I knew as well, and that I was just that stupid.
You're
That that's what you do,
cowboy,
even with
baby.
adults that are smaller than you. Is
Yeah.
you somehow or another come at them like a jolly green giant. And you're like, "Rawr, you know, you live this world. We're scary."
You're constantly involved with your school now, your son's schools now.
Yeah.
You don't do any shit like that,
I
do
don't
you?
touch anybody. I did nothing. There was one time there was a kid on a baseball team that I was coaching, and I went over to talk to him. I put my hand on his head, and he smacked my hand off. Like, I don't know if you ever, there's that one baseball player that people try to touch his head in the MLB, and he freaks out. Like, I get, that's a little bit of PTSD for me when I see that. I'm
Yeah.
like, he doesn't like it. I know you guys think it's funny, which is why you keep doing it to
Yeah,
him.
right.
But I know that it's PTSD for him.
Oh,
Like, something's
God.
going on where he's like, it drives him
Yeah.
nuts.
Oh God, it's the fact that he doesn't want it, and they know he doesn't want it, and they
And
do it
that's
anyway.
why they do it anyway. Yeah. So, Brendan, I'm waiting.
I'm gonna disagree with I think it was a dick move. I think in that moment, and I'm only saying this from the perspective of like Mike was saying, like, you don't, like, why would you rub a kid on the head anyway? It's not your kid.
Don't be rubbing kids, Brian.
All
on the
right.
head or
I
anywhere.
thought I was gonna be able to save everyone's trauma today, but couldn't clear Brian on a perfect record.
I don't have any trauma. I will say that when I found out he passed away, I felt bad because
Yeah.
if people's lives pass before them in their eyes before they die,
Yeah.
that was one of the moments that he had to fucking relive. And I was
Yeah,
just like, God
but
damn
weren't
it.
you a little bit happy that like that's one less witness?
just slowly keeping tabs on Kid Rock and everyone from that other band.
Yeah, it's like, I hope they don't remember. I hope they don't remember.
What if you were his very last thought? He's like,
Oh,
that
no.
fucking guy.
I guarantee you. I guarantee you. He don't even remember that.
No.
I guarantee you. Whatever. What do you got? What do you giving this guy?
It was a dick move, but to be fair, like a lot of dick moves, it came out of ignorance. It wasn't like you wouldn't actively have done that if you knew what he
Right.
was.
I was the 90s. Wasn't that
What he
part of it?
was.
What he was.
I love enthusiastic.
Okay, well, let me ask you
ignorance.
guys.
Yeah.
What?
Okay, so now each one of you, 10 seconds or less, you're in that moment. You know that he is a little person.
Sure.
Sure.
You know that he is an adult. It's time to say goodbye. Those two get up. Matt, what do you do when you say goodbye? Do you shake hands? Do you do anything? Or you just not? What are you doing?
I don't touch famous people or
Okay.
famous associates.
All right, so you just say goodbye, you wave your hand.
See you guys later. If they
Mike?
go for it, I'll go
Okay,
for it.
Mike?
I would shake his hand. And
All
say-
of them.
say
So you would
goodbye.
reach
Yeah.
in to shake
Yeah.
both.
What? Yeah. That's
Okay.
not that crazy.
Isn't it?
It's not patting him on the head.
I love. I think
Giving him a lunchbox and sending him off.
I love what you went through though, because like you're looking at this kid, and all of a sudden you're looking like at an angry construction worker. Like Homer Simpson is now pissed at
It
you.
was
right?
that quick,
Like
too.
like all of
It
a sudden
was.
he's sitting on a lazy face, just smoking a cigar, like the baby in Popeye or whatever, or fucking Roger Rabbit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So, Brendan, would you shake everybody's hands, or would you just say "see you later"? Fist bump? Would you? It is the '90s. I don't know if fist bumps.
So
were in
I'm
yet.
uniquely qualified for this because there's actually a comic in New York City that I'm buddies with who is a little person. I do full dap. I get down. I just do it because but I do that with everybody.
Yeah.
I'm the antithesis of Matt. Like I see famous people at my restaurant and I go up and give them a hug. So
Yeah.
I'm always a big like, hey, how you doing? Give them the dap.
Okay.
It
so
does. To be fair, though, to your point, it is a super awkward like split second of like because I'm 6'1", so having to like bend all the way over. It is awkward. I will give you that, but I still do it because I'm like, well, if I do it for everybody, I'm not gonna not do it for like this is my guy, so I'm not
Yeah.
gonna not do it.
You're not going to hug everybody and then point to them, and there you are, and then just keep going. It's just,
Hey, buddy.
Now, when you hug him, do you bring him up to your level?
Oh yeah.
Well, yay!
I pat him on the head and go, how do my farts taste?
I heard that. What's
boy.
a long time ago, late '90s, early 2000s? Not the Comedy Store, the Improv. What are they? What's the like Black Mondays or whatever they used to have their Chocolate Monday? What would they call it at the Improv back in?
Mo Better Mondays?
There's Mo Better Mondays, which God, I don't think that's aged very well, but that's what I think. That's what. No, now it's just called D-Ray Live or something.
Okay, so
Yeah.
back then, and so in the audience was the kid that played Webster. What was
Yeah,
his name?
Emmanuel Lewis.
Emmanuel Lewis was
he-
in the crowd, and the MC was going around announcing all the famous people that were in the club that night. And he said, Emmanuel Lewis, and some guy in the crowd went, hold him up! Now that's a dick move. And
That's a
by the
dick
way,
move.
everybody
That's
fucking laughed. And
Yeah.
I asked my buddy who was a doorman, I go, yeah, but did Emmanuel Lewis laugh? That's
Right.
the only one
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
worry about.
Yeah.
Not everybody else in the room. He's like, no, he did not laugh. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
That is.
He
That
went
is
to a
just-
dark place
Yes.
in his head.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like,
Yeah.
like it was just one guy was a dick, and then everyone was like, "We're dicks too."
Exactly, that's what that was.
We have permission.
Yeah. And for once, like the host wasn't roasting somebody. They were like, "Yo, props to Emmanuel Lewis," which you would always see Emmanuel Lewis around like the Laugh Factory.
I did not
and
know
the
that. No,
Improv. Yeah,
I've never.
always. I saw
Okay.
him. I saw him.
Did he want to do stand up or something? Is that why he was around?
Was just a stand-up fan.
Okay.
You know.
Is he no longer with us?
I don't
have no
know.
idea.
I don't know.
I think he's still here.
Okay.
Not here.
Man,
but
if we only had like a Google machine or something to know
Yeah.
that. But
there's a phone right there and one right there.
No, we're
Thank
just
you, Mike.
we're just not gonna know.
No, we're just not. We're gonna be men.
Do
of
we
a
not
certain
want to
age
know?
and
Because I just Googled it.
Oh,
All
go
right,
ahead.
tell us.
He's still with us. He's
Okay, good.
53.
That's, okay.
Okay.
All right.
There you go. So that was a dick move, unlike mine. Mine was accidental, like you said, based on ignorance.
Right.
That other one was very intentional.
Yeah.
Oh, that was like-
someone
that-
who knew exactly what was happening.
Yes.
That was like an early version of the internet. Some guy's like, "I'm anonymous. I'm gonna be a dick."
Exactly. Yelling in the dark crowd.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
a
yeah.
epitome of a troll.
Yeah. But That is.
It does just real quick. It does open up an entire other conversation though, of the what is it? Different head of the same coin or whatever. Where it's like, no, I'm going to treat this person exactly how I treat everyone else, but then you end up putting you and yourself and that other person in a more awkward situation by doing so.
I think when you're doing it performatively, where it's like, I see how open-minded I am and how cool I am, that I'm treating this person like I treat everyone else.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Yeah,
I don't think Brennan suffers from that, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Brennan is
No.
doing the bullshit thing.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I'm just
No,
saying,
I'm
like,
I'm
that's-
not. But like like I was telling you guys, like especially like as I'm like doing it with like whether it's a guest or whether it's someone I see at the club or like sometimes at shows. I don't know if you guys ever have this, but there'll be a blind guy, and there's always the comic who's not very good who keeps going at the blind guy, and I'm
Oh
like,
my God,
just
yeah.
treat him like another audience member. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, that's absurd.
And they're like, oh well, doesn't he want to be treated like everyone else? And I'm like, yeah, but now you're going above and beyond to be like, see how open-minded I am? I'm roasting a blind guy.
Now you got to roast everybody there. And even if it's only
Yeah.
50
Right.
people, your set's like only 10 minutes.
I'm gonna bring lobster dinner up there. Huh?
Brennan, we got to run. We got to go call Eric Wendell before he goes to work. Brennan's going to be on the Bro Adjacent tour
There we
on
go.
certain legs. So we're getting excited about that. And
Yeah, we got merch coming for that and everything, baby. Check out my other podcast, everybody listening, Ex Drinking Buddy,
yeah,
if you want to.
Ex Drinking Buddy. I'm on a couple episodes.
Four time. And then when I come out to LA, hopefully we can do number 5, baby.
Yeah, we'll do another one. We'll do it. We'll do it all. Thanks a lot,
All right,
Brennan.
good to see you guys.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Bye.
Peace. Oh man, I have so much editing to do.
Why?
I don't know. I get self-conscious about like putting certain stuff. I don't want
Do you
anyone.
think I was making fun of little people?
No.
Like, I was.
Do you think I was making fun of him just now?
No,
When I was,
no. I shouldn't even say.
we're all
anything.
terrible people.
Yeah. No, it's just like I don't know what to leave in and what not. When like I think about the one listener, sometimes.
Well, we
Oh,
haven't
yeah.
said anything that's offensive, have we?
No, we should get off the topic because we didn't. It's just my head. Sometimes I go.
I don't think we made fun.
Oh,
we
that's
didn't
gonna
make
be
fun of
extra
little people,
work.
did we? I mean, I was making fun of the way people approached it,
Right.
but we weren't laughing at them.
No.
I was laughing at myself how stupid I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was laughing at.
No.
Just cut it all out. That's
Yeah,
fine.
it's gonna be 15 minutes long. Aaron, I'm sorry. I don't know if I asked you already, but can we go to Eric Wendell?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for him to join.
Cool.
Aaron, were we offensive?
No, we weren't offensive. I'm just fucking. I want to go through life without even remotely hurting
Here's the way I
someone's
look
feelings.
at it.
Yeah.
The way I look at it too, is if you're telling a story of like what happened to you,
I know.
right? That you're
You're just telling the truth.
This is what
Totally,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that people get so worked up with like, so I'm not allowed to talk about things that happen in my life,
Right.
Like,
right.
And also, that thing is what evolved you. You know, is what made you a better person.
Absolutely.
It's like, oh, I went through this. I did the wrong thing here.
Yeah, I
I
would never do that
recognize
again.
it,
Are
and
you
now
kidding
I'm.
me?
Yeah, I hope you won't.
only 4 more times, but that's
I'm at-
Wendell, let's see those.
but they were spread out.
Let's see those beautiful blue eyes, man. I don't know why you're always wearing those sunglasses. Did you guys know that Eric
Dude,
has like
Gonna
great
ruin my
eyes?
image.
Huh?
Yeah.
Eric's
Gonna
got
ruin my
like great.
image.
Let me see them eyes. Let me see them peepers.
See how they come out this time. Oh, now they're green.
Turn around. When the sunlight hits them, they look like they look like rubies, man.
I think you're just not admitting that you.
No, you know what it
bought
is?
Those
It's
things
that
downtown.
new pair of
to change your-
glasses. I don't have that pair of glasses is across the room, so I can't get them. But my other newer glasses, my Yves Saint Laurent frames and glasses, I paid extra to make the lenses smaller, so it probably affects the way my eyes look a little bit just because of my prescription. And
Yeah, they look like almost maroon. They're goth kids that would kill for eyes like that.
There they go.
he-
They're
Wow.
starting to blue up. They're blue.
Yeah.
They're bluing now.
well, I just
When-
got to sacrificing a goat in my new apartment to give it,
Drinking
ward
baby
off all the
blood.
demons.
Good.
When the sunlight hits those eyes, we saw him last week. We were blown away. He looks like
Yeah.
a model or
Yeah,
something.
it was unbelievable.
It's a little overcast today, as you know,
All right.
so it's not quite as bright
You're-
out back.
you're
in
kind of
front here as it-
backlit, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm right in front of these bay windows, so, but it's not as bright today.
That's what I'm saying. We're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
What's going on? How's the new apartment? Wendell moved to a new
dude,
apartment.
it's so great. I mean, I'm still living in I got boxes on all sides of me. I just put them out of frame so that I wouldn't clutter the shot. But I mean, I got probably another week or two of stuff to go through and throw more stuff away. I tried to throw as much shit away before I moved as I could, but when the mover showed up, it's just you got to pack everything and get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Have you met any neighbors yet?
Well, my friend Steve, who I've talked about on the show before, and who we had the whole Steve the Robot joke about for years, lives right across the fucking quad out here.
What about new folk?
How's your Melrose Place?
What about new people?
Scenario going? Who have you met?
I haven't met. Well, of course, I met the building manager who leased it to me, and I met his like handyman / neighbor guy. I did introduce myself to the neighbors on either side of my apartment just to
Good for you.
By law?
just to get a feel of. Well, I was really just doing recon because I wanted to see how their apartment was set up, and if I put my TV over here, is it going to be really loud and bother them and they're going to complain? Or if I do something, you know what I mean? I wanted to know what was going on either side of my walls.
I have never seen that much consideration at an apartment building before. That is really nice.
Well, I just don't want to have any issues, you know what I mean? And I wanted to see where their stuff was and ask them questions like, hey, could you hear the other person before? Was it loud? Blah, blah, blah. I'm just doing some recon.
Is there any puffs of huge amounts of marijuana smoke that's ruining
I haven't
your experience?
smelled one puff of weed smoke since I fucking moved out of that old apartment. It's wonderful. There hasn't been a single soccer ball kicked against my front door. I mean, I have heard a couple kids, but not constant screaming and yelling. No babies crying. No ice cream trucks have went by at all. Just the UPS and Amazon guy dropping off some packages.
Yeah.
I drove by my other apartment last night because I was out running errands and my mom talked me into it. Both my couch and my love seat and my refrigerator are still on the curb. Some other sucker with a shitty white cargo rape van was parked in my parking spot, moving. I assume either moving in or maybe that's the cleaners cleaning that nightmare or painting it or something. I hope the guy's doing something to that place because it's a fucking disaster zone. I didn't clean up shit. He was there like nitpicking some things and taking off the covers to the sockets and the light switches, and he was trying to do a couple little things while I was moving out. He wanted the keys in his hand as soon as he got there, basically. I'm like, okay, here you go. And as soon as I turned those keys over to him, that's a wrap for me. As soon as the last box is loaded on that truck out front, I'm fucking gone. And you have to clean up everything, all the dirt on the floor. I ain't cleaning up a fucking thing. It's now your problem. So that was his mistake, but whatever.
And you were there for 11 years? No.
13 years. I moved there in 2011. The entirety of our podcast almost was done from that fucking shitty apartment. I mean, that's how we got the 5 ice cream trucks thing, right? Totally. It was from that fucking shitty apartment.
Totally.
Now, let's look at it
the
from
end of an
the
era.
former neighbor's standpoint, just for a second. If you keep driving by and they keep seeing you drive by, what message are you sending them?
Oh, no one saw me, and that was the last
sure?
time. I only did that because my mom asked me to.
Why'd your mom ask you to do that?
That's an interesting...
Because she's the one that bought that refrigerator for me 10 or 12 years ago, and she wanted me to see if anyone took it because it still worked. And I told the landlord that it still worked. But he's like, yeah, the new people have their own fridge, and he wanted the movers to take it out to the curb. So he went, okay. Well,
who brings their own fridge?
I don't know. Who doesn't want a working fridge? Like, it's working. Leave it there.
Did you put a sign on it?
You don't want a working
you didn't want
fridge.
it.
Yeah.
No, I should have put a sign on it, but everything was packed. I mean, I didn't have anything to write with at this point. And
I got news
I didn't
for
think
you.
ahead to do something like that. It was too late. And I had to leave before the movers because the cable guy was over here waiting for me.
That refrigerator is a toilet now.
Yeah, someone probably took a steaming shit in it already. The rats have been crawling in it. There's probably a small child locked inside.
Well, you should drive by one more time and check it out.
You did it for your mom. You can do it for us.
Yeah, one more drive
Go
by.
by and see.
But you got to get out and check the
Today?
inside. Check the inside. Check it out.
Right.
Well, I'm so old and senile now. I'll probably accidentally drive to that apartment tonight when I get off work at 2 a.m. anyway. So it'll probably be
That's not a good
unavoidable.
move.
Whoops! Oh, I went
That'll
the wrong
get you
fucking
killed.
exit. Goddamn.
Yeah.
All right. So, what movie did you watch this week? Anything?
It was very close. I almost didn't have anything to watch. I did. I'll do 2 reviews. I watched the first 3 episodes of that new show Paradise. Who friend of the show, Sissy, Randy's wife, is the production supervisor on. So
yeah, I'm supposed to
everyone should
advertise
watch
that.
it. Just,
Paradise.
Huh?
I'm supposed to advertise that. Paradise. We
Yeah,
got some skin in the
Paradise
game
on,
over here.
It's on Hulu.
Yeah.
And friend of the show, Sissy, Randy's wife, is the production supervisor on it. So watch it to support her.
Which means it's getting a good review. I don't give a fuck.
It's actually very good so far. Only the
good.
first 3 episodes are out. You just have to put up with Hulu and their fucking ads, which is the worst out of all the streaming services.
So the reviews
Hulu
it's a
is the
Hulu
worst.
review.
But it's really interesting. It's the same people. You know, I helped create the show This Is Us, which she was also a production
You
coordinator
helped
on.
create it? You're a creator?
Well, okay, I did pre-production on it for a couple
Oh,
weeks.
okay.
I didn't create the show. I helped get the show started is what I meant.
Okay.
I mean, none of us knew it was going to be a hit back in the day. I worked 2 weeks on it and I moved on. But, you know, I like to associate my show with Emmy-winning, Golden Globe-winning type shows and stuff.
Sure.
So I try to pick my projects wisely.
Sure.
And I needed a paycheck, and Sissy was hiring, so it worked out great.
Now we're getting to it.
Right. Anyways, it's the same people that created that show, producer, director, writers, and stuff.
This is
created
them.
This show. Yeah,
Sorry.
This Is Us, the same creator.
I really should
or
be a
same-
dad.
Right. They created the Paradise show. And
All right.
it has one of the same actors, Sterling K. Brown is the lead actor. He's doing a great job. And it's interesting. It's kind of a cool show. He plays a Secret Service agent. There's some sort of catastrophic event that's impending. They talk about it in the first episode. We don't really know what it is.
Is Mandy Moore in it?
I don't see Mandy Moore is not in it. And it's interesting. I don't want to give away too much. I don't know too much yet anyway because I've only seen the first 3 episodes, but I don't want to give away any spoilers. But check it out. It's pretty cool.
How many hot
I am
tubs?
disappointed. There was. Sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead.
I am disappointed in one thing though. There was a shower scene.
Uh-oh.
No titties.
Dude, this
No
ain't
shit.
Porky's.
We get to see
those
Sterling
days are
K.
over.
Brown's ass. Like we always get to see dudes' asses. I don't want to see some fucking dude's ass in a shower. I want to see the hot chick.
So 0 Porkies as far as nudity. 0
Yeah, that's what I
Porkies.
was thinking. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. As far as nudity, we're getting a thumbs down so far.
I
Like,
think
they better
Hollywood
step it up.
knows you have options on nudity these days, and they don't
Yeah.
have the
It's
desire
always some
to put
dude.
nudity in a television show,
Yeah.
of all things.
If you're gonna have a shower scene with people having sex, I don't want to see the guy's ass. At least show the chick's ass. If you're not even no side boob, nothing. Like I don't want to see Sterling K. Brown's ass. I
Yeah,
want
you
to see
do.
some hot chick
All
killing
right.
me.
All right. Well, if you got to look at an ass, a man's ass, it might as well be him, right? At least the guy's in shape.
If you say so. Anyway,
How
this
many-
show is great so far. So
how
I'll
many
give
hot
it 5
tubs?
ice cream trucks for
Oh,
so
okay.
far. Five hot tubs so far for Paradise. But the movie I watched this week is the new Cameron Diaz, Jamie Foxx movie, Back in Action. It's
Uh-oh.
on Netflix.
Is that the one where he got sick during? Jamie Foxx? Is that
Jamie
the one?
Foxx?
Is that the one where he
You know
the
what?
whole-
I think they did shoot this in Atlanta. I think this is the one he was injured on, and they had to take time out for a while. But I'm not positive on that.
Okay.
All right. What do we got?
It's written and directed by the I think it's the creator of the Goldbergs, Seth Gordon, if I remember right. He's the one that did the Goldbergs for 10 years.
No, Seth
it's a-
Gordon is
Go ahead.
actually that's not. It's he's the guy that if you guys ever saw that great documentary, The King of Kong.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kong
yeah,
Quarters.
yeah.
That's where he got
Oh,
his
is that
career.
him?
That's where he got his career started. Yes,
He's the director of that?
and then he's made a bunch of movies since then. Yeah, that's
Wow.
That's Seth
That
Gordon.
that was an awesome documentary.
Probably
The
one of the
King
best
Kong. That's a-
documentaries ever
Oh,
made.
yeah.
A
Unbelievable.
third bonus review. That's 5 hot tubs right there.
Yeah,
Go watch
yeah.
that if you haven't seen it.
All right, so back to
Yeah.
So back
This
to
is
back
where he
in
got hurt,
action.
by the way.
This
Okay,
is where
thank
he was
you.
hurt. We just got word that
Thank
this
you.
is where he was hurt on this
just in.
production.
This just in. Breaking news.
just in breaking. Is this an exclusive? Is this a full charge exclusive?
Yeah, no one knows this except for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're putting it out there. Finally.
Woo,
Finally,
man.
the public
We're on the
knows.
fucking
Yeah.
cutting edge over here. So you got Jamie Foxx, you got Cameron Diaz, you got Glenn Close, you got Kyle Chandler. It's got a good cast. It was entertaining.
One last heist, one last mission.
Yeah, we got to do this one last job so that our kids will be safe once and for all for good or something, because the one bad guy came back out of the woodwork 15 years later and now they're drugged back in. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Same
like
old
Pacino and
story.
fucking Carlito's Way. You know, they keep sucking me back in
I
or
think
whatever.
it's Godfather 3.
Oh, is that Godfather?
But he does
3?
get sucked
Yeah.
back in
Famously.
Carlito's Way as
Yeah,
well.
and heat and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Didn't he say the same thing at Carlito's Way?
Probably. Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
Yeah.
Is really all anyone took away from Godfather 3.
Yeah.
And I watched that. Me and my wife watched Godfather and Godfather 2.
Yeah.
And so we're like, but we got to watch 3. Like, why is it
agree.
so
Yeah.
bad? Why is
Right.
it so bad? And it's just not that bad. It's just like, it's just not there.
Yeah. The
It's
other
just
two
not
were
right. It's just
perfect.
not. It
I
doesn't
agree
hit.
with you.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
something off about it, including the lighting of it. It was just weird. The whole
Well, that's
thing was
that's
just
all the Godfathers though. They're
but
really
this one
dark.
was very
Yeah.
no. I'm talking about it had it because it was made in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
So it had that 90s vibe to it.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah, everyone blames Sofia Coppola. I didn't think she
That
was
has nothing to
terrible.
do with
I didn't
it.
think she was
No.
outstanding.
Yeah.
But
she was
like
just kind of there.
it's also like all of a sudden we're invested in Andy Garcia.
Yeah.
You know that I it was so grand the last hour, and somehow so boring.
Yeah.
Sorry, Francis. I love you. You know I love you.
sometimes you just have to finish off, and it's just
He's
not
like,
gonna
oh,
go on.
he's like, oh no, somebody doesn't like Godfather 3. I never heard that before.
Yeah.
Fuck you, full charge.
I mean, they probably paid him so much money because I'm sure Paramount wanted the sequel.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, you were right. It was 1990. I thought it was 92, but I actually was wrong for once on one of my dumb dates. Anyways,
Still got
it
nominated
was
for Best Picture.
Hold on, it got nominated.
Still got nominated for Best
Because the thing, that whole opera thing is so grand and beautiful, but you're not really invested, I don't think. I think that's the problem. You don't really care.
Aaron,
Yeah.
going on?
while
Right.
Wendell is talking, can you find out what other movies were nominated that same year for Best Picture?
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas and Dances with Wolves to start with.
Oh my God!
Good.
Yeah, those
you.
are both
So
90.
much
Yeah.
better.
So Godfather 3 had no
Man.
chance.
Kind
against
of.
both of those.
I think Rain Man was
Rain Man
nominated
2 years
too.
earlier.
Yeah.
Rain Man
you
was
guys.
89.
What is this? Way too quick on these answers.
No,
all these.
because-
this is amazing.
The reason I know is because Goodfellas was famously robbed by Dances with Wolves.
So it's Dances with Wolves, Goodfellas,
Godfather 3.
Godfather 3.
Rain Man.
But the reason I know
No,
is
Rain
because
Man
I
was
remember
2 years
stupid
later.
fucking dates from Blockbuster Video, and that's my only memories in life.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Rain Man was 89,
Or
not
89.
90.
Yeah, definitely 1989.
So it sounds to me like they knew that Godfather was never even going to come close to winning. It was they just threw it in there as a favor.
Yeah.
I think it
I have
might.
the full list here.
All right, go ahead.
Dance with Wolves.
Okay, Dance with Wolves.
Awakenings.
Oh, I
Okay.
remember that.
Great
Ron
movie.
Williams, right?
Ghost.
I forgot.
Yeah. Oh, Ghost. Well, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's-
Godfather
Forgot.
3 and Goodfellas.
It's
Okay.
very Pacino De Niro heavy.
Yeah.
Those
That
nominations.
seems right for
Yeah.
1990.
Yeah.
You know.
Peeking.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah, I
Wendell.
forgot about Awakenings.
I forgot about this review you're doing. Where we at?
It is entertaining because it's Cameron Diaz, it's Jamie Foxx. There is some good action scenes. There's a cool stunt in the car that they show in the trailer, anyways, with the car crash and whatnot. So it is entertaining.
Wendell, can I
Yeah.
ask, is there any Jamie Foxx nudity in the film?
No, I think it was PG-13.
You got
and
robbed.
So they didn't have any nudity that I remember. I would remember it.
Yeah, you
You
would.
know.
Zero Porkies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's weird is
probably because they had the kids in the movie there, so they probably wanted to keep it PG friendly and all that stuff. You know.
Aaron, what's weird?
Wider
What's
audience.
weird about this?
Cameron Diaz retired from acting 10 years ago.
Really?
Her last movie was Annie with Jamie Foxx.
Okay, so she
Oh.
could only come out back into acting
Apparently so.
to be with Jamie.
Wow. Jamie keeps pulling her back in.
All right, we got to get out of here on that. Wendell steals the fucking show. We've been trying to get a big laugh for an hour, and
There
you
it
just
is.
come on in here and just take everything we've said and tie it all back
He
together.
did. Aaron threw the pitch, and Wendell
God.
knocked it out of the park.
Damn,
dude.
Wendell.
Well, Full circle.
This new apartment has got you in a whole new vibe, whole new attitude. We're happy about it.
Dude, I'm happy about it too. I got so much room. I can't wait to throw some more stuff away. It's just like Randy's motto: throw it away, throw it all away.
All right, thanks for listening to the Full Charge Power Hour. Donate on Patreon. There's a link in the description of this episode, and come see me on the Bro Adjacent tour. And we're out. Peace out, fam.
Peace out, fam.